Welcome to the RPG Podcast.
And we are live.
Oh, God, Patton!
Presented by SHEATH. A Time Wheel production.
Welcome, everyone, to the Robert Patton Global Podcast. It's a fantastic day. I hope you're having a wonderful experience this moment. I'm here with Stetson Bardfield. He is a Paralympic rifle marksman shooter. He shoots in the prone position. We're very honored to have him here today. Thank you, Stetson, for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I love doing this.
Thank you again. And I love it also. And it's been a while. We haven't had too much opportunity to connect over the, I guess it's been about a year or more even. And,
just about, yeah.
Yeah. And one interesting thing to start off with is that you live at the Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, you might think it's cool. People might look from the outside, be like, "Whoa, that's cool." Is it cool?
Oh, I think it's amazing.
Okay.
So one thing that's really, really cool is it's free room and board, and we have our own dining hall where we're able to have any kind of healthy food that we need. And it's really, really nice because any kind of diet that we need to adjust to, depending on the athlete, we're able to do that here.
Yeah, you can get like a diet specified to your athletic goals, and if you want to cut weight, gain muscle. Yep. That sounds kind of like the Performance Institute from the UFC just created their own performance training center in Las Vegas, and the athletes go there to optimize their output and input and all that.
Yeah,
stuff. Pretty cool. I'm creating my own training center here at the house. I've been having Dylan King, who is he comes and trains me in jiu-jitsu, which I imagine you might be pretty good at, actually. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't tried it. No, I've always been interested in trying some kind of martial art because it's something that would be very interesting with me having double leg amputation, the double prosthetics, and having my arms affected the way that they are. And I've always found it really interesting.
Yeah, well, and that's why I mentioned jiu-jitsu in particular, because it's mostly rolling, and I enjoy it. People think it's gay, no homo, whatever, but because you're rolling around with another dude, but there's something very therapeutic about the resistance. It's kind of like a mental chess match, but it's just when you're done rolling, it's unlike any other workout you've ever had. Have you ever been in a fight?
Not really. No, I usually try to keep the peace.
Well, I had been in many fights by the time I was your age, and I don't know that I ever felt good afterwards, but there is a sense of peace, and this is like a simulated, because after every fight I got in, or most of them, we always hugged it out or shook hands, and we were friends afterwards, which was also an interesting kind of response to a fight. You end up being friends. You're like, oh, okay. You gain respect for the person, but and maybe that's part of the jiu-jitsu also. But point is, you're there. I met, and I think, wrestling is close enough, in my opinion. Have you ever done that?
I've done a little bit of wrestling. Yeah. One of my friends that actually loads for me while I'm shooting, just because I'm not physically capable of loading the gun for myself. He is a retired wrestler, and he took me into the training mat here and taught me a little bit about wrestling, and it was really, really fun.
I don't like the learning as much as I do the practice of it, because that's the majority of it is okay, I'm going to show you all these moves, and then we'll practice it for 2 minutes, and then you're the doing is where I love about it.
Yeah.
And
Well, we learned by doing it.
oh, good.
So yeah,
Okay.
we were kind of in the act the whole time as he was kind of teaching me the different moves that I need to do to be able to do different things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're strong. I think I see you lifting weights and whatnot on Instagram.
Yeah, I lift a little bit.
Okay. So we're gonna get deep. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. I mean, because like you have a very positive demeanor, attitude, disposition, and I'm like, what thoughts are going through your head? Like on a given day, we all have these repetitive thoughts, sort of playing in our mind, but like to keep such a positive attitude, I'm curious what is going on
It's
in your head.
There's definitely a lot of up and downs. It's not always 100% positive. I usually try to keep everyone around me positive, which is why I'm able to seem so positive to everyone. But I mean, I have a lot of, stuff that's going on in my life, especially right now, that is on the more negative side, and adapting to that has been a challenge. But one of the biggest things that I heard recently that really sank in with me is I didn't come this far to only come this far.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect example of, no matter what is being thrown at you right now, I came this far to go further. I didn't come this far to stay right here in this one spot.
No, I'm like now in my mind's eye, I'm seeing waves, and you're like
Hmm.
walking out. You're trying to get out into the ocean depth, but waves come in and kind of crash upon you. But like you said, you didn't come this far. You're trying to get out to sea. You got to get through those waves,
Exactly.
and so even though they're knocking you back, you didn't come this far to come this far. You came this far to keep going.
Exactly.
I
To
like that.
continue to fight harder and become stronger.
Totally. And my brain, it just works the way it works. And what I love about this is you kind of get to say whatever you want to say, and
Hmm.
there's no consequences, and we can always edit it out. But what's cool about the time that we exist in is for you being a paraplegic, which I don't know if that really came out to anyone out there. That means, well, not paraplegic, but kind
No,
of in there.
so the
Yeah.
disability that I was born with it's called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. Um, and what that does is it causes your joints to fuse while you're in the womb, as well as your muscles to not develop properly. Um, and in that, when I was about 4 years old, my my legs were, when I was born, they were fused at about a 90-degree angle. And so when I was 4 years old, we made the decision to have them amputated. And since then, I've run, I've walked, I've done
Yeah.
everything I could possibly, I couldn't even imagine doing when I still had my legs.
Because they were at a 90-degree angle and you couldn't use them, right?
Yep, I
Basically.
was I was only able to walk on my knees.
Oh my god. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how you had both of your legs chopped off at the knees, essentially,
Hmm.
and you're married recently.
Yep, March
You know,
18th.
March 18th.
Yep, that's when we got
Congratulations.
married. Thank you.
And someone might be like, "You're never gonna get married," and here you are. I saw your wife; she's very lovely, and it's like you got like that's one of the main that's like the main component of life. You're not missing out on that.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
I definitely got some very rude comments growing up, and even as of now, asking how in the world did I end up with someone that beautiful, stuff like that.
haters.
Yeah, exactly.
uh
I grew up being told that I was not going to find anyone because I was too disabled, that it would be too hard for anyone.
like it's hard enough for normal guys, if you will, to get a date, and or at least in our minds or whatever it is. I went like 7 years, pretty much zero action, no dates, nothing. And I was like in a pretty deep state of depression. I was like, what is wrong with me? You know, like, and this is during SHEATH. Like I'm in the middle of a master's program, getting my master's degree. I'm building SHEATH. It's clearly got legs. It's, you know, it's growing, and like
Yep.
no one would look at me, but yet you have, you know, and I've seen you in the past, and people like you know, people are attracted to you, males and females. You don't seem to be struggling in that, the department of having friends. And
Yeah, and I would say the biggest reason for that is because I'm approachable. Um, Being disabled definitely makes me a little easier to approach, just because you don't feel threatened by me at all, really. And that's one thing that I'm happy about, because I love people a lot. I love talking to them, love spending time with them, and it makes it that much easier to be able to make friends.
yes, I know. I'm remembering one of our first encounters. We were at a trade show. I think you were driving around this bionic kind of contraption where it had the wheels that it was like a
Kind of
like
looked
an
like a tank. It was the action track chair.
action track chair. It
Yep.
sounds like how cool it was, because it had
Yep.
like tank wheels, and you were kind of just sitting in it like if you were a soldier coming over the horizon on one of those things with a gun in your hand, and there was a bunch of them. You know, whoever was on the other side of that would be in trouble, I imagine.
Yeah.
And then you use that to go hunting, or
Yep.
no?
I've used it for hunting, fishing. I've gotten probably about 3 antelope in that chair alone.
Dang.
Hmm.
I need to go hunting with you or something. I need to get an elk.
Oh yeah,
Or
that would be fun. Elk are probably the hardest to get. I've only gotten one, and I've been on about 3 or 4 elk hunts.
what's so hard?
Just they're very strong for one, and they're very skittish.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, my friend just went to a ranch here somewhere in Colorado, I think, and he said
Hmm.
they had like 5,000 of them, and
Wow.
they just drove up on a herd. And I'll tell the story. It's pretty fucked up, to be honest.
Hmm.
Two new hunters, my friend and this other guy, they're both setting up to take their shots. They I guess they're instructed to take them at the same time, because if one takes one, then the herd's going to run away, etc. So that one of them misses the shot, the other one blows like this back of the spine off of the other elk, and I'm like, that hurt. You want it to be a clean kill. You
Hmm.
don't want to be blowing off parts of the elk.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, right?
Hmm.
I've never really been hunt. I went hunting with my grandfather when I was really young, and he killed a deer, and that was a whole gross experience with the shit and the guts, and because they gutted it and all that stuff, and the
Hmm.
blood. Maybe that's why I haven't hunted, but I want the meat.
Hmm.
Um,
Antelope
because
meat is my personal favorite. To me, it tastes the best.
what about my reasoning isn't because it tastes good per se. I want to
Hmm.
feel that raw, wild energy coursing through my veins. You get
Hmm.
any of that?
Yeah, it's definitely. There's a lot of adrenaline that starts running through your body as soon as you find an animal, and the hunt begins. Really, the hunt itself is just going out and having fun. But when that point hits where you see the animal, and you're looking at it through the scopes, a lot of adrenaline starts hitting. Your heart starts pounding.
What about when you eat it though?
It's a good feeling eating it, because for me it's more of a, I got this by myself. I didn't need someone else to get this food for me. I hunted it and cooked it myself.
Yeah, that's what I
It's a
want. That
very, very good feeling.
sense of accomplishment and satisfaction that comes from knowing, and like every bite you take, you maybe even have this memory of the event. You're out there
Mhm.
in the woods with your friends and whatever. It's all, instead of, there's no connection to the burger on my plate that I got from Safeway, that we threw on the grill.
Yeah.
And but also, more importantly, like, I want to stress this, and I don't know that it's true or not, because I haven't had a chance to really eat a good portion of, and over time, of wild game. But
Mhm.
I just feel like if you are what you eat, and we're constantly eating cows that were factory farmed, sitting in cattle stalls for their whole life, and whatever, the whole process of that mundane existence and tragic and everything, we're eating that. Would I feel better if I was eating this animal that lived a free life up until the last moment, that never even saw it coming, and
Right.
fed on really healthy, maybe wild grasses and whatnot? I don't know.
Mhm.
That's what I'm asking. Like, when you eat it, is it different than eating a burger?
Well, you can easily taste a difference in the quality. In the quality alone, it's really amazing. And then, yeah, you feel better because you're eating things that aren't processed and
Yeah,
unhealthy and all of that. It's very much you can tell it's healthier just by tasting it, and it still tastes really good. And um, yeah, I mean, the sense of accomplishment while you're eating that is absolutely real. Um, there have been several times where every once in a while I'll eat some of the antelope that I got a little while back, and we'll have it as jerky while I'm snacking on the range while I'm shooting and stuff like that, and it's just really, really great.
that sounds awesome. I'm eager to make that happen. We have deer walking out around, like, in our front yard, and I'm like, I could just
Mhm.
kill this deer right now. I wouldn't even suspect it. They're very tame, or like, they've been acclimated to the human interaction,
Mhm.
because they're not scared at all. They will, like, walk right up on you up here in Woodland Park. If anyone's in Woodland Park, let's go have
Mhm.
coffee. Well, like I said, we'll have to do that as time goes on. What's your schedule like these days?
As of right now, it's not very big on the competition aspects. My next competition isn't until next year in May, and I'll be going back to Lima, Peru at that point. But until then, I don't really have anything but training and surviving.
But do you get to leave there?
We have to put in an off-complex request, which most of the time will get accepted. It just depends on what you're doing, of course. If you're just going off to pick up some food or stuff like that, then it's totally fine. But they're really trying to keep hold of this virus and make sure that it's not spreading anywhere.
It's
And
not real, bro. It's fake. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything. And I agree. And that's okay. So it's like really bad now, I imagine, or it has been since March-ish. Well, you
yep,
must have just
so
got married. Did you get married during COVID or
yeah,
right
so
after?
we got married right before the office that we went and got married had closed. The
Wow.
day before.
Wow.
Um, and I stayed with my wife for a little while because you know, I wasn't able to really come back to the training center because they completely shut it down. Um, so I stayed with my wife for a little bit, and then July 25th, I believe, I moved back on complex, and it's very much closed right now still, but we're allowed to come back on because they understand that athletes need to train as much as possible, and training is not being maximized by not being allowed to come on complex.
No, I imagine not. And your sport is unique in the way that you need a facility, and also even, like, probably assistance with the training, setting up, you like loading your weapon and whatnot, like you said.
Yeah.
What are you shooting? Are you shooting bullets? Or are you shooting
So I
beam?
am shooting a 177 caliber pellet. It's an air gun. Um,
Yeah.
very, very high precision rifle though. Normally on a day-to-day basis, I'm usually shooting about a minimum of 80 to 100 shots, and then a maximum of about 300 shots. And within that whole time period, 99.9% of those shots that I'm shooting are within the grouping size of a drinking straw hole.
No way. I was thinking a dime, even smaller than a
No,
dime.
it's about a drinking straw hole for our 10 ring.
The amount of concentration that is required to keep that shot group, imagine,
Mhm.
is
It
something like,
takes a lot.
yeah, well, what do you, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say my mental state is a lot stronger than my physical, of course, just because of shooting and growing up with my disability. But it's taken a lot of training to be able to get to the point that I'm at now, where I'm able to sit in the range for, I mean, 4 to 6 hours and really dig deep and go for exactly what I need and keep that mental focus for that long.
That's wow. Yeah, because now I'm thinking of the opponents and them having to do that, and you're all competing over something the size of, like a drinking straw hole. The accuracy that you're
Hmm.
striving for
And
is
that's just our 10 ring. So our
yeah.
10 ring is about the size of a drinking straw hole. And our good shots is about a 10.7 to a 10.9. A 10.9 is the equivalent of hitting a period on a newspaper with a 12-point font.
Wow. That's that's like some surgical level shooting,
Hmm.
If you had to do surgery on a guy from 100 yards away, get Stetson and his airsoft rifle. It's not an airsoft rifle. That's rude.
Oh, that's okay. It's an air rifle.
What is it? I'm just joking. Anyways, this is a comedy. This is a comedy podcast. We do politics, not very often though, because it gets controversial. We
Yeah,
do
that's good.
comedy, and it's mostly a success oriented driven podcast,
Hmm.
like what it takes to be successful, and that level of dedication is one thing. Sitting on the
Yeah.
range from 4 to 6 hours. I don't know how often you're doing that, but like that's
Every day but the weekends.
yeah, okay. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to say you do that every day and you say no, I do it once a week. But okay, that's a lot. And
Hmm.
if someone were to dedicate themselves to anything with that level of time and persistence, I believe, it's like whether you're acting, music, art, human resources, being a lawyer, whatever, you're going to become that thing.
Hmm.
Maybe you might be at the lowest level of the profession, but like I hate when people say you can't do something, and even if it's being an actor, and I know it's like super competitive and whatever, but if you really want to do something, and especially these days, with that example, you can make your own YouTube movie, like get creative.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What I was gonna go to your Instagram page. I hadn't been there in a while, but um, what do you do outside of training to inspire people or just be
Um,
yeah.
I haven't been able to get out a lot before everything started happening earlier this year. I was a tour guide here at the Olympic Training Center for a while, and I got to meet probably up to, I would say, about up to 50 people every other hour. Especially during the summer, we had big rushes coming through, and I got to meet a lot of people, tell them my story, and really explain to everyone that, like, look, I was given pretty much the bottom of the barrel when it comes to physical, but I'm still I'm still making an incredible life for myself. I've already gone to Lima, Peru for the Para Pan American Games and won gold while I was there.
Woo! Gold medal,
Yep,
baby. Is it
yep,
real
real
gold?
gold. It is.
No way.
Yep, I
I
got
was
a
always
real
wondering.
gold medal.
Dang, how much does it weigh?
It's a good weight. Whenever you come down here, I can let you hold it and everything.
That sounds great. I'm actually holding 1 kilo of refined silver, which
Hmm.
if you trade in silver for gold, it's worth probably like one of those like quarter size coins. But it's
Hmm.
silver. It's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because since our newfound quasi success as an organization, I've
Hmm.
found myself quite interested in precious metals.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Well, with precious metals, I mean gunmetal, I mean
Hmm.
silver, gold. I'm just kidding when I said metals, because especially right now in my house, we stopped watching the news because I feel like they put intentionally put news stories up that are kind of divisive to get us
Hmm.
kind of like riled up and stuff. So I'm just like, we watch The Office.
I was just saying that I'm very much a people person, like I said before, and it's really sad to see like how many people are so politically driven that they don't want to be friends with other people anymore. It's
Yeah, there's so
really
much
sad.
more that unites us than divides us. I mean, they're really
Exactly.
having to really dig for these issues that divide us. Why are they trying to
Hmm.
divide us? Because we won't look at what they're doing up there. And I have a feeling there's a little bit of shenanigans going on up there. Power corrupts absolutely, they say. Maybe not. Maybe they're all angels. I think there's a little something going on. And that's why they want us to not necessarily be united as a people, because then we
Hmm.
might become powerful. Anyways, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Like with me, I'm not a political person at all, at all, at all. I I have my own personal views on some things that are going on, but I'm not going to debate someone on them. I'm not going to fight someone on them. I'm especially not going to lose a friend because of them.
Yeah, no, and I've actually lost a couple friends when Trump won. One of my friends, I didn't even vote for him, but I did not. I also didn't vote for Hillary, and I was kind of laughing about it, like that's funny, and he like lost his shit, and he was
Hmm.
so pissed that Trump won. And I'm sorry, I was like, "You're insane," and I'm not talking to you. And so I have lost a friend because of it. But like you said, I don't want to lose any more because of it. And I
Yeah, everyone
don't think
takes
he
it
was
so
really a friend.
personal.
Yeah, yeah, he took it like way like hardcore crazy, and a lot of people did.
Hmm.
Um, Curious to see what's going to happen here, but I we will shift gears. And when I say curious what's going to happen, I mean in this election,
Yeah.
it's going to be a nail biter. But we'll hold our breath and see what happens. What do you do in terms of self-expression? When I say self-expression, singing, podcasting, reading, art, what like do you do think what do you do?
Well, I do actually have one song that I have released recently. It's a very personal song. It's very emotional. It's about my mother and I's relationship.
Wow, like
Um,
Eminem style?
Not
I'm
not
just kidding.
exactly, but I mean kind of.
Yeah, okay.
My
See, I was
my
just gonna say.
mom was never abusing drugs or anything. She did drink quite a bit, but most of it was she was never there. I normally was the one raising my sisters, and it was a rough time growing up, but I do feel like it made me stronger and has definitely it's made me a little more. I'm trying to think of how to word it. it makes me care a little bit less about what other people say about me, only because it's more, it really depends on who it is more than the amount of people that say it.
Wow. Yeah.
Because the way I look at it is, if if 20 people are saying they don't like me and I'm a bad person, but there's one or two people that love me and we are really good friends and we've been friends from the start. Obviously, I'm going to want to listen to those two people instead of the 20, because that's what I need in my life to continue to move forward and become better. Negativity is such a hard thing to deal with, and a lot of people deal with it. I mean, kids in school, adults that are maybe going through a hard time at work, and it's really, really sad to see all of it, because it really is a lot of, they're letting the negativity get to them instead of looking at the positive and seeing what they do have.
Is that what the song is about? Like letting go of the negativity and seeing the positive, or?
Yeah, so that song, I don't know if it was about letting go of the negativity quite yet. I do plan on releasing another song eventually. I'd like to release it soon, but it just kind of depends. Um, but most of what that song is, it's a goodbye message. It's
Oh,
really just
wow.
kind of saying that, like, you hurt me a lot, but it's time for me to let it go and move on to the next chapter.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was talking about, like it's that kind of expression, and it can be healing. Like it
It
sounds
is.
like
It absolutely is.
yeah. Wow. I was not expecting that. You're releasing it on like SoundCloud or something, or what?
So that song is currently on Apple Music, YouTube, and Spotify.
Wow. What's
Yeah.
it called?
It's called Oceanside by Catalyst.
Let me write that down.
Yeah,
Ocean
and
Side.
Catalyst is obviously my artist name.
Cool name.
Thank you.
With a C, like normal, just spelled normally.
Yep,
Catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah, I spelled it right. Wow, I don't have
Oh,
any songs. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out. We have a record label. Just saying. I'm not necessarily
really?
going to sign you, but yes, Time Wheel. Shout out to Time Wheel. My brother, who will be producing this, is the CEO, originator, creator of Time Wheel, which I'm a part
Interesting.
owner of. But yeah, if you go to timewheel.net, you'll see all of the artists, music, and
Well, I would love to see if I could collab with them, of course. It's,
yeah,
it's it's not a yes or no, but I
of course.
mean, it's worth a shot.
It's always worth a shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have some really good artists that I feel
Mhm.
should have been signed and are not currently. And like Josiah
Mhm.
Brooks, he's one of our models on Instagram, ripped, shredded, tatted up, kind of
Mhm.
black dude, super good friend of mine, great
Yeah.
musician. They didn't sign him because
Mm.
it's a style of music that is um it's my, and I leave that to my brother. I would like to be a little bit involved in like some of the talent selection, because I'm like, this dude is bumping over here. But this is my kind of music. He
Mhm.
it's a more of an indie psychedelic kind of
Interesting. Okay.
it. Yeah, and I don't know what your music is like, so we'll have to see. But
So
definitely check it out.
mine is very closely. Um, I would say I would relate it closely to like NF.
Okay,
It's rap music. It's very like emotionally heavy. Um, the song that I'm working on right now, I'm trying to find some good music for the background to it, and um, figure out my own rapping voice. Um,
cool.
it's called The Depression Conclusion.
Damn, this is awesome.
And in the song, I'm really in the very beginning, even I'm trying to sign people up to try to end depression. It's not ever going to completely go away. But in the very beginning of the song, I'm talking about, you know, welcome. Why do you want to sign up? There's oh gosh, I could even pull it up for you if you want. I've got
I do.
yeah,
Yeah, like
because
what are you signing? What, like signing up for depression? Is that was
signing up for the conclusion of depression, getting rid of it.
okay? Good.
Yeah. Let me pull that up real quick because
While you pull that up, I would like to tell everyone you can go to sheathunderwear.com and get yourself some of our brand new mesh underwear, the airflow. People are loving those. I'm loving them. You'll love them. If you love Sheath, you're going to like shit yourself over these. Whatever. Not that, but you're going to be excited because,
Sheath is great. I love their stuff.
oh man, you were too kind. Yes.
Oh man, I'm not even just saying it to say it. I'm being totally honest. It's the only sheath I wear now.
Hey, we don't even say the U word. We just say Sheath. Oh, look at these pictures. You guys should go check out his Instagram, Stetson Bardfield _2020, 704 followers. It's not bad. He's cooking burgers. He's shooting rifles. He didn't come this far to only come this far, people.
Hmm.
He's making dreams come true. And he's representing the good old USA. Baby, baby. Very hard. Sheath hat. And sheath shirt. And sheath hat. Very cool. Did you find it?
Yep, I got it right here. So the very first bit of it is I'm here to inspire you and hire you to be one of us. So fill out this application right here in front of you and follow us. Help us make the difference we're trying to make, a change that some people would call a mistake. First, you need to identify what's going on inside, whether it's biological or psychological, or maybe it's both. But people still believe it's a hoax, even though globally over 264 million people have been diagnosed. But on top of that, if you're an alcoholic and depressed, 50% of that ends up in death.
Ooh.
So it's a very hard-hitting song.
Yeah, I got a
But
little chill
that's kind
there.
of my
That's good.
yeah,
That's a
that's
good. You
kind of
want
my
to.
goal though, because if we're not hitting people deep, we're not making a difference. And that's one thing I always tell my friends is, like I will answer the phone anytime you call. If I don't answer the first time, call again and I will answer because I am always going to be there for my friends and family. They're very important to me and no one deserves to die. No one.
Community is like not it's underappreciated and like just taken into consideration with mental health. A strong community of friends that support you and aren't fucking like always bringing you down, is
Exactly.
so important. And sometimes you're stuck with certain people that are negative and can't help themselves because they're so wrapped up in their own pain that or whatever, it
Hmm.
is. And they're like always kind of pissing on your flame, like
Hmm.
you want people to ignite that flame, to stoke that flame, to blow more oxygen on that.
Exactly.
And that's a huge component of success is the mastermind group, which I'm so grateful that I have a group of like-minded individuals. Matt from
Hmm.
Ohana, I'm going to shout him out. Corey from Elevation Hydration, Morgan from Luna Floats Ball. He just sold it. He's out in Taos now, living on a ranch. But um, we brought on Arn, who's just like an independent investor, and Max, a chiropractor. Point is, these guys are all shooting for the stars, going for their dreams, and so am I. And together, we all support each other in our triumphs and challenges, and seeing them do well, I'm happy for them, but at the same time, I can't let them beat me. So now I gotta step up my game to rise to the occasion. I'm a capitalist. I'm a competitor. I like this country system that we work under. I knew the rules when I got started a long time ago, and I knew I had to do something crazy to break through out of the rat race of the cubicle, where
Hmm.
it's you can spend your life there.
Yeah,
Man,
absolutely. And, competitiveness is a lot of what drives us, which I really, really like because um, whether it's like with your company or as an athlete, or even if you're an artist, you are competing against someone to be better, which is what I really like about competition is because you're always trying to be better,
mm-hmm,
even if it's just to better yourself,
totally.
because sometimes you are your only competition, but that's still competition.
Yeah, you're not as good as you're only as good as your last performance, and then you can always get better when you compare yourself to like golf, for example. I'm horrible at it, by the way, and I just started playing again because a friend of mine asked me to go, and my dad had taken me out quite a few times when I was young, and I could just never really get it. It's just really tricky.
It's a big mental game. A lot of times, shooting and golf are very closely related, just because of the level of mental strength that you have to be able to do both. And it's very interesting to learn about because I really
It
try
is
to
similar.
study the sport. Yeah,
Yeah, but breathing, sequence of events, that occur from start to finish, from
yeah. The
swing to
Like you said, the breathing, the
yeah.
fluidity of the movement,
Mhm.
the stability. You have to have a
Mhm.
lot of stability for both because
Wow.
if you're not properly grounded in golf or shooting, you're not going to be able to hit exactly where you want to go.
Yeah. No, and that's a great tip. I might have to if grounded. Uh, I'm still trying to figure it out. I did have a really good session when my friend invited me to go play, so I went and practiced by myself, and I surprised myself at how well I did by myself. But then when we went and played, I was back to my old I don't know, in my head, and I'm shanking balls left and right into the woods, and I lost a lot of balls. But some it's cool. It's really like what I like about it, I guess, is it's kind of just like being in nature, and it's a good way to get out and hang with the boys, I guess,
Yeah.
and just kind of chill. But that reminded me of something that I was going to say earlier about the current age and technology and disabilities, if you will,
Hmm.
and the just potential for some breakthroughs. Do you feel like, because my Achilles is fucked. I've been walking with a limp for years now. I can't run.
Hmm.
I can do exercise machines and stuff, but for whatever reason I can't. It feels like there's shards of glass in my Achilles. I need to figure out exactly what's going on. Somebody mentioned that it might be gout. I'm going to look into that, because if that would fix it, that would be great. I love running, but I would, if I could, technology advanced to the point where I could just get a new foot slash bottom, part of my leg, then
Hmm.
I would do that. I think maybe not the first one, but I'd watch how. I mean, and are you optimistic at all about these types of things? Have you heard? Do you pay attention to that? I
Well,
imagine.
yeah, yes and no. So I would say the biggest thing is that we need something that pushes us forward in that. Um, because for the longest time, prosthetics were awful.
Hmm.
I know that because I started with some of the worst prosthetics. It was called a drop knee, and it was literally just a pin that was that was the knee. And now I have robotic prosthetics that help me walk. As soon as I put pressure on the toe, that's when it allows the leg to bend. And then as soon as I pick up the leg, the hydraulics make the leg swing forward. And it's incredible how far it's come. But as a community, as a whole, humans in general, if we are put under some kind of stress, put under something that almost requires us to push harder against it to become better, that's when we will get better.
Like necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate to say it, but there is one good thing that comes out of war when we have so many, veterans that are disabled veterans. We need something to help them live their life better because that community grew pretty significantly not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah.
So they were pushing really hard to really up the level of engineering in our prosthetics, which really boosted the advances in prosthetics that we have today. I do believe that it will eventually get good enough to where you don't even feel like you're missing a limb.
Yeah.
Um,
That's where I think they're talking about Neuralink, where they're going to link computers with the brain. And that's, I mean, like if
it's
they can,
amazing.
right. If they can connect a computer with the brain, they can connect a computer with your nervous system. And movies are usually a prequel to what is to come in the future. And I'm, like in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker got that new hand and he's like looking at the little things in his wrists and he's bending his fingers and it's all working. I mean, it could it just something like you said, I think something needs to be the catalyst, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah. We call that a callback in comedy.
And that's kind of that's why I have my artist name as Catalyst because of that exact definition.
That's pretty cool. I think I want to hear Oceanside. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Oceanside, yeah. By Catalyst on Apple Music. You can
Yep.
also find this podcast wherever you're listening to it. We're available on all of the platforms. I think.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one that we're not on. I think we're on all of them. So
Awesome.
it is all audio. Obviously, you're listening to this, but we'll go video one day. I'm not in a hurry. And again, it's all an exercise to me in communication, and the goal is to. I always wanted to kind of be like a motivational speaker.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's definitely a goal of mine at some point as well. And actually, I want to become a counselor. Not to like back you away from what you were saying. Please continue your sentence. But I definitely know that feeling, like wanting to become a motivational speaker, a counselor, like one of those people that goes up on stage and really like fires up the crowd and gets
yeah,
them motivated to do something, being a catalyst in the world.
a catalyst. There it is again. Yes. That could be your stage name or whatever. That's actually a very good description for a motivational speaker because that's what they do. They catalyze. Is that how you catalyze?
I'm
Like,
not sure.
I'm not either. Look that up. Put it in the show notes. Steven does our show notes. Shout out to Steven Sumati. If you ever want to do yoga on, I think Sunday mornings live on Facebook, he's always putting out a nice Kundalini yoga session. But
Nice.
dang, what was I going to say before that? Catalyst.
You want to be
So,
a motivational speaker?
and why would I want to do that? Because they like when I listen to Tony Robbins, maybe, but more accurately, Napoleon Hill and Bob Proctor, some of these other guys, and we all have the guys that we listen to. There's a lot of different motivational speakers out there. Those two are my favorite. Napoleon Hill, he wrote Think and Grow Rich. Definitely read that if you want to be rich. It is the Bible for success. I promise you. promise you. Any other book will contain theories and anecdotes, whatever lessons from this book. This is the grand. It was written in like 1908. The only predecessor to it would be like the stone tablet. What is the emerald tablets of Greece, where it talked about the what is it? It's just like the not the meaning of life, but the secrets of life, the secrets to life. You know, which they speak of in the movie The Secret or the book The Secret, which is just like visualization, faith, hard work, effort, and stuff. But like it all starts in the mind and in the desire and the wanting it. And these guys help you, you know, kind of break out of old habits, old thinking patterns, new ways of thinking, and being, really just being a way. There's a way of being successful, and it's not just the way you think. I mean, but it starts there. And so Think and Grow Rich. The other one is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. A lot easier to read that one, Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. It's really short, simple, to the point. I think they were written pretty close in the time frame. They're both available online for free, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, I like to promote those things because of the benefits I got out of it. You know, they even talk about fasting. I mean, there's so many different principles of success that are, you know, are not just work hard. You know, it's eating right, treating people right, harmony, persistence, desire, and you know, a team, like a mastermind group, those people you surround yourself with. And so there's a blueprint, people. I'm telling you, you don't have to figure it out for yourself. I'm trying to tell you right now, and I'm talking to you too, but you already got gold. I don't need to tell you how to be successful.
Oh, we're always striving to be better, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of every athlete. One thing that I've definitely noticed is everyone here, no matter what level they're at, whether they're the best in the world or just beginning, they're always trying to be better, because that's the same thing with, like I said, we need something to push us forward. That's the exact same way, or the exact same thing, because eventually someone will beat Usain Bolt's speed record.
Yeah.
Eventually, someone will beat the amount of medals that Michael Phelps has and his swimming speeds. Eventually, all of these things will happen. But we need the people to work hard enough to do so. We need something that pushes us to that next level.
Well, and that shows us, a lot of times just showing us it can be done is a huge impact. For instance, ice baths. Highly recommend you do them. Highly recommend everyone get into it. It's mind-boggling and eye-opening. But when I first started a couple months ago, I would get in and I'd be like, like freaking out. I could stay in there for like a minute, and I thought I was accomplishing this great feat. And then my team came in from San Antonio, and I was like, okay, let's do the ice baths, because I saw them doing it in San Antonio, and so we did a session here. And seeing them do it in the same water I was doing it for like 5 minutes without freaking out, just like sitting there, I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm, you know, immediately after seeing them do that, I was like, okay, I gotta like get it together. And I kept my cool, and I slowly increased over, you know, a few weeks to the 5 minutes. And then now I do like 7. I could keep going. You know, your body, you do something to the mind, to the body, to adjust to what's happening, and you just deal with it. And it's such a great exercise in stress management, because you're like stressed. It's a stressful situation, and you gotta like breathe through it. So yeah,
I've done it twice.
yeah.
Was not a big fan.
No, it sucks.
But I mean, eventually you get to the point where you're in there long enough where it almost stops affecting you.
Yeah, so that's when your body adjusts completely and you don't feel it anymore. Yeah, you can just go ahead and I think that's the time you can go ahead and get out.
Mm-hmm.
I give a impression that I'm getting in ice baths. Me personally, still to this day, I just put the water as cold as it can go, and I
Mm-hmm.
get in. I might put a little bit of ice in, but I'm not like in a full on ice bath. It's
Yeah,
just,
we
but
have.
Colorado water is freezing. Just
That's
saying.
true. Yeah, so we actually have an ice bath, like regulated type thing here at the
Wow.
training center. We have a lot of different, exercise equipment and, um, things to help us physically. We've got a hot tub and an ice bath almost right next to each other. Um, and that is professional grade. I mean, it's the same type of thing that like football players and
Of course.
MMA fighters and wrestlers use.
Yeah, I would recommend. It's called the Finland method or whatever, and you do the sauna, get an ice bath, go back in the sauna, go back in the ice bath, and do that a few times, and
Hmm.
whatever it does something. But like, I feel when you're 20 or 19, how old are you?
19. I'll be
Yeah,
turning 20 in January.
yeah. So your body is already running at an optimal level just because you got all the juices flowing, you're young, you got all the hormones kicking in at a like maximum. So doing these other things while would still be beneficial. I feel like maybe what you would notice as a benefit would be very small. You might be like, well, I'm already like, I'm not going to run any whatever to perform any better per se. You might like such a small fraction, but as you get older,
Mhm.
we call these like performance enhancing therapies. And I like feel so much better. I mean, it's so noticeable. The inflammation, the pain like you get when you're older and you've just been dealing with injuries for a long time is
Mhm.
significantly reduced. I mean, I was taking Advil or ibuprofen daily for years. I mean, not daily, but like often. And since starting the ice baths, it's like there's no need to take any kind of pain
Mhm.
medication, which is great, or anti-inflammatory. And my mood is better. So, and
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah. So when you're like I said, when you're as you get older, just keep these things in mind because there's a lot of tricks, biohacks to
Definitely.
living your best life as you get older. Excited to have you in. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining
thank
me.
you.
If you guys didn't hear that, he is Stetson Bardfield 2020 on Instagram, Oceanside by Catalyst on all the music players. Check it out. Shout out to Sheath Underwear and
Oh yeah, Sheath.
yeah, Sheath
Definitely
Underwear
Sheath.
for sure all day. Thank you, Stetson.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, again. Once again, another episode of the Robert Patton Global. I'm very grateful for all of you who do listen. Tell your friends. Give us a 5-star rating. It's much appreciated. I think it's pretty good. I don't know. It's getting better. So we'll just keep getting better at this and spreading love, good energy, positive messages, and good conversation. So thanks a lot, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.